Rick, first of all, I am so sorry. This must hit you profoundly.
Um, More than you'll ever know. People always wanted to paint us as enemies, but we were actually very, very close friends. And we kept it up with each other on a regular basis. So I, I just talked to Jimmy Hart yesterday, and he was fine. To have this happen is just horrible.
How did you get the news? I'm so sorry, Rick. I am so sorry.
Oh, I've gotten it from everybody. My phone won't stop. And that's a good thing because everybody is saying something nice. When social media can be so cruel, in this case, everybody is saying something nice.
So, I knew him over the years, but not
He
like
loved,
not
he
like you.
loved you, Harvey.
I really had a connection with this guy. I'm wondering what he meant to you. I mean, I want to hear your connection to him.
Well, we had magic. I mean, it wasn't like me and Steamboat, but we just had a chemistry that was I felt like equal to me and Steamboat, but in a different way. And he was so over. I mean, when I went there in the '90s. I had never seen anything like it in my life. The music started, and he came down the hallway. And I mean, I would get him down for 2 minutes, and we'd have it's just an unbelievable relationship. I mean, and I'll give you an idea of how much fun we had working together. If we were doing a dark match after TV, we would go and he'd say room service and throw me in, give me the boot, and drop the big leg on me. We got back in the hotel for room service. I mean, that's how much fun we had working together.
So you guys were rivals in the ring. Um, and I'm so curious about this. Was there ever, did that ever kind of bleed out into real life, or were you always secretly friends? Or
Always friends, always friends. I'd be remiss to say I wasn't jealous that he was making so much more money than me, but it had nothing to do with him. It's just I'm not going to bring up his name. The promotion just put me in a bad spot, but not with him ever. Are you kidding? I loved him, and everywhere we went, we drew money. It's just we had a connection, and since then we've done signings together, and like the Hard Rocks, and I keep up with him. I've been out to his bar for karaoke, and I mean, it just everybody wants to take a shot at Hulk, but he doesn't deserve it. People make mistakes, and who knows how that happened, but it just it's unfair to judge anybody by I mean who would I be to judge anybody? I mean, really, who is anybody that's a celebrity to judge anybody? We've all made mistakes.
so, I've talked to him over the years, and about his ups, which there were many, and his downs, of which there were definitely some. Where was
Yes.
he? Where was he at the end of his life in terms of his head? Where was Hulk Hogan? Terry Bollea.
Well, I think he was doing great in it, but there's people that just they take shots at Hulk, and they want to blame him for being protective of his position. But they don't. The young guys don't understand that back in the '80s, you didn't. It wasn't as political as it is now, but you had to fight for your position. I mean, not fist fight, but in some cases even fist fight. But because everybody wanted to be you. Does that make sense?
It
It,
does,
it, it,
and you mentioned being political. He he was political. I mean, he was, I believe, the star of the Republican National Convention last year. And that, look, we're a 50-50 country divided. And he paid a price for that even when he showed up in the ring.
Yeah, well, you know what? One thing about Hulk, and I've never forgotten it. He used to say to me, it's not about who's the best worker, it's about who makes the most money." I, I hated that saying.
Well, what's interesting about that saying is that kind of applied to your relationship with him, that he made a lot more money than you, and that's what mattered to him, yet you never showed jealousy toward him.
No, well, I couldn't. I wasn't mad at him. I was mad at the promotion. I'm not going to bring up any names because now it's not a time to blame anybody. But um, you know, he with me, he knew that I wanted to work with him because that meant I was on top, and we had some fantastic dealings. The match with Shaquille O'Neal as special referee, and then Halloween Havoc where Tommy Hearns, Muhammad Ali, Sherry Martel. I mean, they're never going to be called classics, but they drew money, and we we drew money. And the one thing that I said it publicly at the Garden one night. My son uh, went to 6 rehabs, and he never. He, I, my insurance didn't cover rehab, so Hulk lent me money one time to keep him in rehab and to keep him off life support. So I've never forgotten that. And I went to pay him back, and he said, "You never have to pay me back. I'm here for you."
Wow.
And then when I was dying in the hospital, I don't remember, but he was the first one there. So how do you forget things like that?
So this is, an hour after we broke the news. So maybe it's too early, but I'm going to try. Um, he was a complicated man. What do you think his legacy is?
His legacy is he's arguably, along with Steve Austin, the biggest star in the history of wrestling. For his generation, for his generations, he was light years ahead of me. I used to go back to Minneapolis to see my mom and dad, and they weren't part of the NWA. And it's one of the greatest things I ever remember. My dad would say to me, "Everybody knows who Hulk Hogan is. They don't know you." Okay, Dad.
Well, that's not true.
No, no, in Minneapolis, 'cause we didn't go there, and I mean, we met up on the road, and when we did, we always partied and had fun, and we competed. But the one thing that was a for sure factor is the building was full, and we had fun. We didn't have to talk about it for 3 hours. We knew what we were gonna do because we felt it.
I get it. Rick, look, I know this was really hard to come on this soon after the announcement, but we so appreciate it. And again, at least from me and from TMZ, our deepest condolences.
Well, thank you. I hope everybody just stands up and says, "Man, Hulk, you're the greatest." He made a lot of people a lot of money.
That he did.
Not just the promotion. He made a lot of people a lot of money. I can remember when he was working with Kamala, and Kamala wasn't getting paid right, and he went to Vince and said, "Kamala needs more money." I mean, he had a good heart, too good.